everybody. Welcome, everyone, to the 45th Annual Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards. I'm Claudia Puig. I'm president of LAFCA. Thank you. We are so thrilled to celebrate your artistry here tonight. Before we get started, I want to shout out to the people who helped make tonight possible. Thank you to our crack executive board, the unflappable Tim Grierson. I know he's around here somewhere. Yes. My right-hand man who keeps us all on track, and it would be impossible to do the dinner without you. The indefatigable Renaissance man, Justin Chang. Who's as gracious as they come and good at everything. And our new treasurer, Ann Lee Ellingson. Who handles a wide array of tasks with her trademark grace, poise, and enthusiasm. And many thanks to Kira Wojak for her invaluable help. Thanks, as always, to Stephen Farber for his curatorial talent. There he is. Yeah. And thanks very much to Dave Emmendorfer for bringing it all together in the video reel that you'll be seeing shortly. Most of all, thank you to our award winners, especially those who traveled from far and wide just to be here, from places like Korea and Spain and France. To Bong Joon-ho, tonight's best director. The visionary filmmaker who brought us our Best Picture winner, Parasite. I want to say, 감사합니다. I've been working on that. And to Song Kang-ho, there you are. And the rest of the Parasite team, thank you all for a film and a cast of characters that will stay with us all for a very long time. Thank you, Claire Mathon, Jeremy Clapin, and Dan Levy, our French contingent. Thank you for reminding audiences why French cinema is a force to be reckoned with. Thank you, Noah Baumbach, for an incredible story that many of us related to maybe a little bit too much. We hope he's enjoying all the space here. Thank you, Mary Kay Place, for your masterful performance. For your masterful performance in Diane, which, by the way, earned a place on Barack Obama's top 10 list. With that and his production of American Factory, he's clearly our favorite cinephile president. Let's bring him back. Many thanks to Greta Gerwig, who is herself already becoming a legend. She will be accepting our Career Achievement Award on behalf of the legendary Elaine May. Thank you to Jennifer Lopez. You turned Ramona in Hustlers into a living, breathing character, and your performance wowed us. Gracias, Pedro Almodóvar. I'm not sure if you're here yet, but you've given us, with Pain and Glory, a revelatory tale that profoundly touched our hearts. And a big thank you. Yay, Pedro. There he is! Yay! Hey! Woo! Wow. Now that's timing. Your entrance is perfect, perfectly calibrated. That's when you know it's a great director. And a big thank you to the wonderful musician Michael Marshall. And our new generation winners who came all the way from San Francisco, sans the flowers in their hair. Thank you to all of our winners tonight. In addition to our honorees, almost all of whom are here, we have some special guests joining us tonight. We have David Heyman, who produced at least 2 of tonight's winners. Marriage Story and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. If he's producing your film, you know that's a good sign. Also, Portrait of a Lady on Fire director Celine Sciamma. And Hustlers director Lorene Scafaria. Consuls General from Belgium and France, and the fresh folks from Rotten Tomatoes. Thank you all for joining us here today. With the news these days, it can be hard to leave your house, but we're glad you did. And what better reason than to celebrate this year's award-winning films? Whether they propel us to action, reflect our times, or express the inexpressible, each one of these films offers us a place of refuge. These films connect us across cultures at a time when it's sorely needed. In recent years, it has felt at times like we were the hero in the second act, beaten down, desperate, at our lowest. Well, it's a new year and a new decade. Happy 2020, by the way. And whether or not you go in for resolutions, there is always a sense of potential and hope at the start of a new decade. Where many would argue that the last one was potential gone awry, we can only hope that 2020 rings in an era of clear vision and learning from hindsight. With that in mind, in place of resolutions, I offer you these fervent hopes for the future of film. Let's all continue to seek out and tell new stories, whether that's an original take on a classic, a film destined to become a timeless classic, or an innovative storytelling technique. Your voice matters. You have the power to astound and enthrall audiences as you show us the world in a way we have not seen before. Let's embrace and encourage more stories told by women, people of color, and marginalized voices. One of the positive trends of the last decade was the amplification of this issue and the beginning of talk transitioning into action. Let's keep that momentum going. In fact, let's accelerate it. I think we all agree that there's still a long way to go, but as the award winners in this room show, when more people are able to tell their stories, we all benefit. If you've already, thank you. If you've already been given opportunities, bring others up with you. If you've had to fight to get those opportunities, know that we see you. We are here ready to advocate and celebrate your creativity. We critics love to champion movies that sink their hooks into us and don't let go. Every single one of you has a powerful impact on our collective culture and consciousness. You shape entire generations. That's an amazing thing. Your art reaches into corners of the world where you might least expect it. And in the process, you're knitting together disparate lives, inspiring empathy, and encouraging understanding. You can build bridges out of stories, and now, more than ever, the world needs you. Cinema can set the course for the future, so let's help make that happen. Not that we're demanding or anything. We know it's a tall order, but now we'll give you our end of the bargain. We promise to look for the essential truths in your work. We promise to go in with an open mind. We promise to push ourselves out of our comfort zones and always be willing to have our minds blown and our world reinvented or reconsidered. We go without fear into the worlds you create. After all, you filmmakers are doing the heavy lifting, so the least we can do is give you a boost up. We are so proud to celebrate your films tonight. Every one of our honorees tonight here has, through their vision, not only given us a masterful work of art, but they've set the bar for the filmmakers of the future. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for sharing your work with us. Thank you for daring to tell your stories and letting them become a part of all of us. Congratulations to this year's winners. Now let's celebrate. We have a special treat for you. I'm very happy to have singer Michael Marshall here to perform his soul-stirring rendition of San Francisco from the film Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Last Black Man in San Francisco is known for its moving and emotional scenes. And this is one of them. Hey, yeah, this is for Frisco. Let's turn the music up, please. If you're going to San Francisco, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. If you're going to San Francisco, you're gonna meet some gentle people there. Hey, for those who come to San Francisco, summertime will be a loving there. But oh, in the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair. But oh, all across the nation, such a strange vibration, people in motion, you feel me? There's a whole generation with a new explanation. People in motion for those who come to San Francisco. Summertime will be a loving there. But oh, in the streets of San Francisco, gentle people with flowers in their hair. So if you go to San Francisco, remember, summertime will be a loving there. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ann Lee Ellingson, and I have the honor of presenting the first award of the evening, as you're getting your meal, the LAFCA Ruth Batchelor Scholarship, which this year is generously supported by Rotten Tomatoes. So a couple of years ago, on the cusp of the Me Too movement, LAFCA's membership took a look around at our meetings and agreed that we could use some more variety among our ranks. We initially aimed to increase the number of women in our field by encouraging and supporting aspiring female film critics with a scholarship named for our founder, Ruth Batchelor. We've met some rock star women through the program, and I'm happy to say that our prior scholarship winners, Angelica Cruz and Brianna Barton-Shaw, are here with us again tonight. At the same time, Rotten Tomatoes was making changes to widen and diversify the pool of critics on its platform, adding hundreds of tomato-approved critics, establishing a grant to help critics attend film festivals, and offering a graduate fellowship in criticism at USC. We at LAFCA followed what Rotten Tomatoes was up to, and Rotten Tomatoes heard about what we were doing, and at a certain point, it seemed like we should talk. I am so glad we did. Thanks to Dana Benson, Jenny Jedini, and their teams at Rotten Tomatoes, we've been able to not only increase the size of the scholarship exponentially, but offer it to 2 recipients this year. We also expanded the pool of applicants to include both women and people from underrepresented groups, so we have a guy this year. Plus, and this is what I'm most excited about, our scholarship winners will also get Fandango and Fandango Now gift cards. So thank you, Rotten Tomatoes. So let's meet our winners. Kristen Wizar is a part-time artist, student, and worker based out of Los Angeles who commutes via biking and trains, a true Angelino. As a result of taking a film class a couple of years ago, she became inspired to continue writing about film and sharing reviews on social media and through a Philly-based podcast collective, Cinepunks. The writings she shared with us are insightful cultural, political, and feminist investigations into classic cult films. Kristen says that the lack of diversity among professional film critics motivates her to provide her perspective as a working-class woman of color in order to provide a broader perspective in film discussion. I couldn't be more proud to present her with the 2019 LAFCA Ruth Bachelor Scholarship.
Hi, everybody. Okay, so my parents got upset that I didn't mention them in my bio, so I'm gonna dedicate this to them. But especially my dad, who took me to El Capitan and theaters like every weekend, and we would stay in the car and talk about the movies like almost like an hour after, just discussing everything about it. So I think me writing about film really comes from him. And so it's truly an honor to accept this award and be in the room with people who are truly inspiring. Also, shout out to The Last Black Man in San Francisco. You're my favorite film of 2019. I mean, I know it's different, but I really felt that as an Angelino because I mean, I've seen LA change so much, and I mean, my childhood home, I don't have it anymore, so it really got me right here, and it's just so beautiful, so thank you for making such a beautiful film. And thank you to the LA Film Critics Association.
Our second scholarship winner, Elsie Rengifo, is the son of immigrants from Colombia and El Salvador whose passion for film and writing dates back to the age of 13 when his parents first gave him one of Roger Ebert's review collections. I think that's how a lot of us got started. While studying film and journalism at Santa Monica College, he served as editor of the campus paper and has been published in the Los Angeles Review of Books and writes for Entertainment Voice and Riot material. He is also a tomato-approved critic on Rotten Tomatoes. His reviews of current cinema demonstrate a depth of knowledge, keen insight, and broader cultural observation. From his cover letter, I want to be a film critic out of a love for cinema as a panorama of our dreamscapes, as well as its sense of joy, fun, and aesthetic pleasure. But I also admire the critic as that one raised arm in a room willing to challenge and debate. I am thrilled to present him with the 2019 LAFCA Ruth Bachelor Scholarship.
So first of all, thanks to the LA Film Critics Association and to Rotten Tomatoes, two organizations I've admired for so long and have dreamt of being a part of. And first, thank you to the artists that are here and the work you guys make. And I never thought I'd be in the same room as Pedro Almodóvar someday. This is pretty amazing. And before I acknowledge some other people, I just want to say that it's true. I think the critic and the filmmaker has never been more essential than the times we live in right now. The films you guys make capture the times and the world we live in, and the critic, I think, is there to not just tell people whether something is good or bad, but to see the world differently and to break down what's happening in the world right now, and to hopefully give audiences a different experience when they enjoy the art that we're celebrating here tonight. And I would also like to dedicate the award to my parents, who were two immigrants from Latin America, and movies, that was our pastime at home. And that's how they learned about the wider world too, in the countries they were from. So thank you so much for this opportunity. Again, I'm just so honored to be here with heroes like, a lot of the great critics here tonight too, like Justin Chang and a lot of other just great voices. And a word of thanks too to my girlfriend for helping me edit one of the pieces that I submitted. So can't forget that one. Thank you so much, everybody.
Hello, my name's Jen Yamato. This is my first time, so I hope I'm doing it right, and I'm so sorry if I'm not. To be honest, my brain and my soul were a little scrambled by Michael Marshall's beautiful performance just now, and his is a voice that I haven't been able to get out of my head since I saw this stunning film almost a year ago now at Sundance, The Last Black Man in San Francisco. It's a story of a young man longing for home, whose heart is firmly planted in San Francisco, even as the gentrifying city he loves pushes him, like so many others, further and further away from his own history. And tonight, with our New Generation Award, we honor a trio of talented artists who make this film sing. Jimmy Fails, actor, writer, who portrays Jimmy Fails in this film with tremendous courage and presence in his first starring role, and leads this gifted cast. We also present it to the actor Jonathan Majors, who unfortunately could not be here with us tonight, who plays Jimmy's loving best friend Mont and is a revelation as he bears witness to Jimmy's quest for a sense of place and identity. And we present it to director Joe Talbot, who puts his stamp on one hell of a feature debut with astonishing poise and vision. Together, they weave an exquisite tale that pulses with enchantment and heartbreak in equal measure, told with a bold expression of vision and voice, and with hella love for the Bay. So please join me in congratulating the recipients of this, come on up, guys, of this year's LAFCA New Generation Award. We have director Joe Talbot and Jimmy Fails here with us. This is for John.
Well, clearly I'm new to this whole thing. I tried to get up before I was supposed to come up here, but thank you to the LA Film Critics Association. Thank you to everyone that took a chance on us. A24, Plan B. Thank you to Joe Talbot and his family for always being there for me. Also to Jonathan Majors, who couldn't be here, and for being a really great mentor. I feel like I wouldn't have been able to do that movie without his guidance, and the city of San Francisco for creating people like Joe, who I love, and all the people that worked on the film, and just for constantly inspiring me as an artist.
Yes, thank you so much to LAFCA, Jen. You guys have taken our smaller film and really helped elevate it, and been a big part of why people saw our film. We share this award with Kalia Neal and Christina O, our heroic producers, the whole team at Plan B. Without them, this film never gets made. And of course, the team at A24, who was also just as instrumental in this film getting made. I come from a family of writers, so I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my parents who created a home that allowed for this movie to be made about a home. And I want to shout out, my mom in particular, who imbued our home with love, and this movie asked more of her in some ways than anyone else, so I love my mom. And lastly, it all starts with Jimmy Fails, who lent himself to this film, created it, and is my best friend in the world. So, love you, Jimmy. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carlos Aguilar. I'm one of the new members of LAFCA this year. Thank you. I'm very excited to present the award for Best Score. The purpose of music in film is never to overpower the images that we have on screen, but to elevate them and provide a new dimension for us to appreciate them in a more profound way. In that sense, Dan Levy's score for the animated gem, I Lost My Body, is truly cinematic because it allows us to see, or rather hear beyond what's on screen. Through Levy's music, we connect with a peculiar protagonist, a hand on a quest to return home. Levy's compositions are the vehicles for this hand to communicate with the audience and for us to understand its complex emotional state. Well, Levy is no stranger to composing music for movies. What he achieved in the score for I Lost My Body is truly remarkable, as it elevates further an already powerful film and makes it even more melancholic and hopeful at the same time. So it's my honor to present the award for Best Score to Dan Levy.
Hello, thank you very much. I'm so pleased. Tonight didn't start well for me. Just it was my moment. It was my photo call, and at this right moment, Jennifer Lopez came. So it was a missed call. And after that, I was at the cocktail, and someone asked me for a glass of wine. So I think I need to spend more time here. So this is the opportunity for me, and I'm so pleased. I want to thank Los Angeles Critic Awards. I want to thank, and it was a gift, the director, Jérémy Clapin, and the production with Marc de Pontavis, and a big thanks to Netflix. And thank you very much, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Ooh, that was loud. This is a hot mic. My name's Katie Walsh, and I am honored to be here. Oh, thank you. I'm honored to be here tonight to present our award for Best Cinematography, especially because this year's honoree, Claire Mathon, is the first female cinematographer to receive this prize from the LA Film Critics Association. And not a moment too soon. As a group, we overwhelmingly voted to honor her for not one but two films, Portrait of a Lady on Fire and Atlantics. These two tragic seaside love stories have their own unique styles, but Mathon brings a meditative, observational quality to both films. Her camera offers a yearning, at times hungry gaze, animating the character's unspoken longing beneath the surface. In the mesmerizing Portrait of a Lady on Fire, directed by Celine Sciamma, Mathon crafts careful, painterly compositions that are lit with warm, flickering flames, a representation of the growing fire, glowing and growing, between Marianne and Heloise. In Matty Diop's Atlantics, it's a thoroughly modern affair, humming with the glow of neon disco lights, digital screens, and fluorescent bulbs. With these two masterworks, Mathon demonstrates an eye for stunning composition and an ability to snatch seemingly spontaneous moments of naturally occurring visual poetry out of thin air. Her camera casts a spell, lending the viewer a piercing and soulful gaze. So it is our honor for the LA Film Critics Association to present Claire Mathon with this year's award for Best Cinematography for these two incredible films.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to receive this prestigious prize. Thank you to Céline Sciamma. Thank you to Céline Sciamma for the meeting between the cinema and the painting. Thank you to Mati Diop for the meeting between a ghost tale and contemporary Senegal. I'm so glad to have worked with those two talented women to participate to their vision. I'm so impressed. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, everybody. I'm still Leonard Maltin, and I'm here to present our Best Actress Award to Mary Kay Place. And it's my honor and pleasure to do so. Mary Kay Place has built up a reserve of goodwill, I can't think of what else to call it, over 40 years, to the point where if I think of her, I smile. It just has that automatic reaction. And I'm not sure why it's taken anybody this long to give her a leading role. But I'm glad that someone did. That someone is Kent Jones, the writer and director of Diane, who wrote the title role with her in mind. So we are all in his debt for giving us such a beautiful, heartfelt, three-dimensional portrait, and to Mary Kay Place for performing it so beautifully. Mary Kay Place, our Best Actress for 2019.
The program said I was much later. I'm a little verklempt. Thank you, Leonard. I'm so honored to be introduced by you and so honored to be standing here. This is way too long, by the way. I'm going to talk really fast. To be honored standing here tonight with all of you to receive this award from the film critics in my hometown. Tulsa, Oklahoma was my original hometown, but ever since I drove my VW Bug on Route 66 from Tulsa to LA in July 1969, yes, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood takes place the same summer. Los Angeles has been my primary home. And over the years, I've enjoyed listening to many of you here tonight talk about film on radio and TV, appreciated, this is a hot mic, your reviews and essays in newspapers and magazines, online and off. I actually feel like I know some of you, even though we've never met. So it's especially meaningful to be acknowledged by you, and I thank you from here and even way down here. Like many films, oh God, this is so long. Getting to this moment with Diane is a story of synchronicity and, dare I say, grace. Leonard mentioned that Kent wrote the part for me after watching Francis Coppola's The Rainmaker, saw the character I played, the resilience of his, in the character I played, the resilience of his mother aunts, cousins, began formulating a story about his family. 16 years later, we met at the Berkshire Film Festival and served on a jury together, and afterwards he emailed me and said he had been ruminating since The Rainmaker about his matriarchal family, where women were the center of the action, and he was going to write a script about them for me. 2 years later, Diane appeared in my inbox. 2 years after that, we got the money to shoot the film in January 2017 in New York in 20 days with me as Diane, even though I never thought we'd ever get the money because I'm not a bankable star, let's face it. I was moved. I was moved by a number of films this year that featured all kinds of females, girls, adolescents, young women, old women, little women, hustling women, divorcing women, dying women, doppelganger shadow women, and women on fire. So many diverse stories about the resilience, complexity, and strength of women, as well as their ability to create community, show compassion, empathy, forgiveness, vulnerability, and if need be, kick some serious ass. I am grateful and proud that Diane is a part of this group in the class of 2019. Now, although some of you seem to be fans of Diane, I have learned this film is not for everyone. It's not exactly a fun for the whole family kind of film. Here are some quotes from the audience review on the internet. Not that I read any of them. Most depressing movie ever, I want my money back. Every conversation in this movie is about relationships and gossip. Guilt has taken over this woman's life, and that is unfortunate. Just once, I wish a character would ask, did the Celtics win last night? And a slightly better one, finally, a rural movie without weird, dumb shit. Even though it's sad. Because of all of you here, and other journalists' reviews across the country, more people were motivated to see Diane than I would ever have dreamed possible. With only a microscopic awards budget, because of you, Diane was part of the 2019 film conversation. Okay, just a little tiny part of it, but it was a part. And I'm actually standing up here tonight. Because of you, Barack Obama decided to check out Diane and put it on his favorite movies of 2019 list, casting the net for potential viewers even wider. Because of you, Diane is streaming her little heart out, even as we speak. Thank you, LAFC. Thank you.
I'm Lael Lowenstein. Hi, everyone. What happens when a Chinese company decides to open a production facility in the Rust Belt of the American Midwest? In Dayton, Ohio, to be precise, and on the site of a General Motors plant that had hemorrhaged 10,000 jobs when it closed. That is the question posed and probed by Julia Reichert and Steve Bognar with fascinating precision in American Factory. What happens in the wake of Fuyao Auto Glass's expansion into the US is not necessarily what you would think. What starts as a promising antidote to the painful effects of the recession and the collapse of the American auto industry, turns into a complex inquiry into cultural difference, the malaise and potential moribund status of the American dream, and most of all, the possibility that we have been left behind at the very game we started. As workers are devalued, we have to assess their status. Remarkably, the filmmakers resist the temptation to judge. They do not draw conclusions. Instead, they illuminate issues and allow us to explore the possibility that two things can be seemingly contradictory and yet also true. They won't give you answers, but they will make you curious. Here to accept are Julia Reichert and Steve Bognar for American Factory.
So, when I heard about this award, which, by the way, thank you so much, I decided to do a little digging, and I found the first review I ever got in Los Angeles, and it is in the LA Times, and it's from Friday, October 22nd, 1976. It was, of course, a film called Union Maids. And at that point, the LA Times had the largest circulation in the West. I don't know what it is now, but it was just over 1 million people. Okay. Talk about, this was written by, I want to call a couple names, a woman named Linda Gross. And then I got, it's been a while, obviously. The next piece that had my name in it was for Seeing Red, a guy named Clark Taylor. And then, my favorite, the most smart review I ever read of our film Seeing Red, which was by none other than Ken Turan. So, very good guy. But there was a mention that you all will champion small films. This film showed twice. I read this right here. Once at UCLA and once at the Los Feliz Theater at 11 in the morning. And it got an actual review, and it's 50 minutes long, 5-0, and it got an actual review. So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you very much. I don't know if I was 30 yet at that point. I just wanted to say it's a great year for documentaries. All the documentaries were fantastic. We're very honored you chose ours, and I'm very proud to be part of a real documentary history. And now that I've gone from young to medium to old, I feel like it's fallen to my generation to remember D.A. Pennebaker, to remember Ricky Leacock, to remember Emile D'Antonio, to remember Pere Lorentz even. And it's up to my generation to call those names out and to make sure the young ones see their work and know who they were. And I think Steve wants to say something.
Yeah. I hope you like our matching haircuts. We worked on that. Trusting someone to tell your story is no small thing, and we wouldn't be standing up here if hundreds of people in a factory in Ohio who are from China and from Ohio took a chance on us, trusted us to basically be part of their lives for 3 years while we were filming this movie. Without their trust, without that leap of faith, there's no movie, and we're very, very grateful to them. We're very grateful to LAFCA and the critics who got behind this film. As Julia said, I mean, we're here with Todd Miller, who made a great film, and there's so many amazing docs, also from Ohio, and there's so many great docs this year. We made this film with a team. Directors get too much credit, and our brilliant editor, Lindsay Utes, is a Hercules who carried this movie on her shoulders. So many people worked on this film. We also wouldn't be here without participant media, who came on board when we were making this film, when this film was still an idea and a bunch of raw footage, and they got behind this film, they had our backs every step of the way. And now we are so grateful to the incredible support, this sort of like, 1,000 hands holding us up that we have from Netflix and Higher Ground Productions. When you're on chemo, it's no fun to travel and do a lot of stuff, and the Netflix people have had us in so many ways that we can't even recount. So thank you so much, everyone.
Hi, I'm Amy Nicholson. I was so caught up in that speech because I love that movie so much that I'm a little late. Hello, everybody. So the thing about Hollywood is here, people never really seem to die. I mean, right now, all of you could pull out your phone and you could watch Bruce Lee or Sharon Tate or Burt Reynolds, eternally young and alive. Hollywood itself, however, is continually in peril. I mean, if you go to Hollywood Boulevard right now, the iconic buildings of its youth are currently at risk of being torn down for condominiums. So thank God for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood's production designer Barbara Ling, who resurrected our city in all of its neon-lit, donut signs, Taco Bell, porno theater glory. Barbara spent her teenage years on these exact same streets, and she knew them, and she cared about them, and she might be the only production designer whose obsession matches Tarantino's. And so we at LAFCA, we want to applaud Barbara for not just reviving Hollywood, but for reviving old Hollywood techniques by shunning VFX in favor of plaster and sweat. And your research and your dedication and effort, you brought our city's memories into the modern era. And so for that, there is no better recipient for LAFCA's best production design than the artist I'm about to bring up on stage right now, Barbara Ling.
Thank you, LAFCA, for this incredible award, and to be in a room of some of my most favorite films that I've seen this year. I'm very honored. This film was an incredible design experience. To be able to bring back 1969 to sections of the city was an incredible challenge and an amazing experience. I had a fantastic art department, which some of them are here with me this evening, and an incredible crew overall on this film. But I had an extraordinary director who was so in love with the city that he was raised in and formed him as a filmmaker that he gave back to this beautiful city by writing this epic film. And kind of gives us a little bit of a moment of looking at a glance at Hollywood in its shining moment, when it shined like a bright neon marquee. Thank you, Quentin, very much.
Good evening. I'm Robert Kohler. John Ford and John Wayne, George Cukor and Katharine Hepburn, Kurosawa Akira and Mifune Toshiro, Anthony Mann and James Stewart, Rainer Werner Fassbinder and Hanna Schygulla, Michelangelo Antonioni and Monica Vitti, Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro, and Greta Gerwig and Saoirse Ronan. Deserving a high place on this select list of great director-actor pairings is Bong Joon-ho and Song Kang-ho. Across nearly 2 decades and 4 movies, including Memories of Murder, The Host, Snowpiercer, and now Parasite, Song has embodied men at every end of the social spectrum, experiencing incredible levels of horror, terror, death, love, and plot twists, and sometimes doing it astoundingly with a smile. Bong loves this extraordinary actor's voice and physical force in his body, but maybe most of all his face, and seen from every angle, including, I think, most expressively in profile. With his role as Ki-taek, the proud but desperately poor head of the Kim family in Parasite, Song brings together hints and touches of all of his previous roles for Bong, from the befuddled detective in Memories of Murder to the craftiness of the security agent in Snowpiercer. It's almost as if both of them are recalling a beautiful collaboration over 20 years. Tonight is a chance to recall it all over again. The Los Angeles Film Critics Association is proud to present its Best Supporting Actor Award to Song Kang-ho.
Thank you so much. No smell. Great honor to receive this award on behalf of the teamwork and ensemble of our team Parasite. I want to thank the actors and staffs and director. Thank you. 사실 봉준호 감독하고 한 20년 됐죠. 20년 동안 처음에 20년 전에는 봉준호 감독께서 그 티모시 살라메처럼 날씬했는데 지금은 기에르모 델 토로 감독님처럼 되셨는데.
So it's been 20 years since I've worked with director Bong. 20 years ago when I first met him, he was slender like Timothée Chalamet, but now he is more like Guillermo del Toro.
근데 이게 배우들 때문에 스트레스를 받아서 저렇게 됐나 그래가지고 좀 마음이 안 됐었는데 그래도 이 트로피를 받아가지고 좀 보답이 된 것 같아요.
Sometimes I feel bad worrying whether it's because of the actors. I hope this award is somehow a compensation for that.
그래서 디렉터 봉하고 다음에 여러분들께 또 인사를 드릴 수 있는 기회가 생긴다면 그때는 티모시의 몸매로 올 수 있도록 열심히 연기하겠습니다.
So next time, if I have the opportunity to work with director Bong again, I will do my best to make sure that he goes back to the Timothée Chalamet figure.
그리고 지난 8월부터 이제 한 5개월간 이렇게 뭐 미국 전역을 이렇게 인사드리고 여러분들 이렇게 좋으신 분들 많이 만나 뵙고 참 아름다운 추억을 이렇게 쌓고 있는데 참 저한테는 개인적으로 가장 기분 좋은 일이 미국 관객분들은 저를 굉장히 잘생긴 배우라고 인식을 하고 있다는 것이 저한테는 굉장히 고무적인 일입니다.
So since late August, for the past 5 months, I've been touring around North America, having the great opportunity to meet U.S. audiences, to meet great people around, great memories that I've gathered. But honestly, for me, the best part is that the U.S. audience seems to think that I'm a very handsome actor.
아니 사실은 이 진짜 저는 한국에서는 한 번도 잘생긴 배우라는 얘기를 들어본 적이 없어요.
Because in Korea, no one ever calls me handsome.
좀 이상하게 생긴 배우.
They always think that I look very strange.
그래서 여러분들께서 저를 보고 한국 남자 배우들은 다 저렇게 생겼구나 이렇게 생각하시면 큰 오산이 아닐까라는 생각이 들고요.
So I think that it's a great misunderstanding to look at me and think all Korean actors look the same.
한국에는 정말 잘생긴 배우들이 굉장히 많다라는 말씀을 꼭 드리고 싶습니다.
I really want to tell all of you here that there's so many great handsome actors in Korea.
그리고 오늘 밤 이렇게 아름다운 기억을 영원히 아주 결코 잊지 않겠습니다. 대단히 감사합니다.
And I will never forget the great beautiful memories of tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Of course, I got to follow that. Good evening. My name is Jordan Kronk. I'm one of the new members of LAFCA this year. Thank you. It's really a big honor to be up here to present the Douglas Edwards Experimental Film and Video Award. This year, our committee is pleased to present the award to the Giverny document by Jatovia Gary. Yes. The Giverny document is the Texas-born, Brooklyn-based Gary's fifth film, and at 41 minutes, her first medium-length film, after an impressive run of short films. The Giverny document is set in two locations on the corner of 106th Street in Harlem and Malcolm X Boulevard in Harlem, and at Claude Monet's Gardens in Giverny, France. In the Harlem scenes, Gary, in a subtle nod to the 1961 French film Chronicle of a Summer, interviews a series of black women on the corner and asks them a seemingly simple question: do you feel safe? While the answers vary, each one articulates something very specific about the black female experience. Meanwhile, in France, Gary is seen exploring Monet's gardens, stopping occasionally to let out a primal scream. Interspersed with moments of direct animation and archival footage, including a stirring performance by Nina Simone, the Giverny document speaks forcefully to the creative imagination and bodily integrity of black women past and present. Miss Gary unfortunately could not be here tonight, but she passed along a short video acceptance speech, which we will watch now.
Hi, my name is Jatavia Gary. I'm the director of the Giverny document, Single Channel, which was awarded the Douglas Edwards Experimental Film Award by the LA Film Critics Association. I want to thank you all for that award. My apologies for being absent. I am in New York working on another film, but it is truly, truly a humbling distinction that you have provided me with. So I want to thank you to the entire Film Critics Association. I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but hopefully I'll get the opportunity to accept something again in front of all of you. So thank you again for recognizing my work, my very, very hard work. And I hope you all enjoy your night and your new year. Bye.
Hi, thank you. Hey, you guys, I'm Christy Lemire from RogerEbert.com, and I'm here tonight to open for Jennifer Lopez. No pressure, I got this. So when you're in the public eye for as long as Jennifer Lopez has been, for in as many ways as she has been, as an actor, singer, dancer, fashion icon, television host, she's a perfume, she's an abbreviation. We know J-Lo so well by now. We know everything she can do so well, so beautifully. And then a film like Hustlers comes along, and it makes you feel like you've discovered a superstar for the first time. Mm-hmm. It is dazzling, it is thrilling, and I'm not just talking about her striptease to Fiona Apple's Criminal, which will make you never want to eat carbs again in your life. I know I stopped. No bread. But it's everything. It's the full range of what she's able to do in this beautiful role that Lorene Scafaria wrote for her. Lorene Scafaria is here tonight, too. It's the height of her charisma and swagger. It's the depths of her dramatic abilities and her vulnerability and everything in between. It's a great joy to watch. And it's a reminder that Jennifer Lopez is here to stay, and she is not going anywhere. And she's here, you guys. She's in this room with us right now. So please help me welcome to the main stage our Best Supporting Actress winner, Jennifer Lopez.
Best Supporting Actress. I like that. That's nice. This is nice. Hi, everybody. I wrote things down because I'm not very good at this. Thank you so much to the Los Angeles Film Critics Association for this honor. I've been in this business for a while, longer than I'd like to admit, but I've had the great privilege to work on many films with great directors and some really interesting roles to play over the years. But there was something that spoke to me about this film and this role, not only at this time in my life, but at this time in our world. I was offered an opportunity to shine a light on women who are usually spinning on the periphery of the action. Complicated, multidimensional women, beautifully drawn, who were both heroes and victims of a system that preceded them. And I immediately felt like I had to get this film made, no matter the obstacle. A survivor just trying to get her piece of the American dream. Ramona, like so many of us, was a mass of contradictions. Mentor, manipulator, mother, fighter, entrepreneur, and hustler. A siren who was like seducing all into her web, a female character with the type of depth that is usually reserved for the men in Hollywood. Getting the, that's right. I said it. Getting this movie made was not only a labor of love, but one of sheer will and grit. We women banded together, and every time we heard no, and we heard it often, we just pushed harder. Yes. I'm truly grateful for this recognition tonight, and I'm proud to stand alongside an incredible group of women who brought this story to life. Lorene Scafaria, who, for writing and directing this amorality tale, my producing partner, Elaine Goldsmith-Thomas, who's here with me tonight, who fought tirelessly and who fights tirelessly for me every single day, but she fought tirelessly to get this film made. A huge thanks to Jessica Elbaum, who found the original Jessica Pressler article that set us on our course, and to all the women behind the scenes, including an incredible ensemble of brilliant actors. I was thrilled to work with Constance Wu, Lily Reinhart, yes, Keke Palmer, Julia Stiles, Lizzo, and Cardi B. This was a film written, directed, produced, edited, set designed, all by women, about women, starring women. I also have to acknowledge that it takes a strong man to support this group of women, and I stand here to celebrate them and congratulate them for standing beside us. First and foremost, Adam Fogelson, head of SCX. When everybody said no, you were the yes. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for believing in me all the time. Bob Simons from SDX, and Will Ferrell. I want to give you a special thanks for standing by my side and helping me to fight to be able to do what I love. Kevin Huvain, who always believed in me from way back when. We from the Bronx, and we here. We in here. And to Benny Medina, my dear friend and manager, who always reminds me that we are only as big as we allow ourselves to dream, and that the possibilities are limitless. And finally, I just want to thank my 4 children. They're not here, but they're always with me, and everything I do is for them, and for my partner in life, Alex Rodriguez, who always reminds me, yes, that no matter what, We already won. So to all of you talented women out there writing films, producing films, directing films, support one another, please, and tell your stories. And remember, no is not an answer. It's an opportunity. Thank you so much to the Los Angeles Film Critics Association for this award. Being recognized by this group in this city, the center of our industry, means more to me than you could ever know. This one is special. Thank you. I love and appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
I'm Joe Morgenstern from the Wall Street Journal. Thank you. I never imagined that I would have the problem of following Jennifer Lopez. But I never imagined that I would have the privilege of thanking her wherever she's gone for the perfect, wonderful, joyous performance in Out of Sight that I've seen, I can't tell you how many times, and look forward to seeing again. It's my pleasure tonight to present the award for Best Editing to Apollo 11, which was not only edited but directed by Todd Douglas Miller. And as I said in the program note, it's my personal pleasure because I was there at Cape Kennedy on that hot July morning in 1969 when the Apollo astronauts blasted off for the moon. I was sitting in the grass across the lagoon. I was closer than I should have been. I had sneaked off from the press grandstand, had no idea how dangerous it was, and when the rocket lifted off, I thought, as so many people who have been to these launches have said, I thought that the blast would shake my skeleton apart. I was covering the launch for Newsweek, and being there and writing about it was the great adventure of my life. I could go on, and I won't, about what this majestic film means to me personally, but I want to say a few words about what it means nationally and historically, what it means to all of us living as we do now under a government that celebrates ignorance instead of achievement, that fears science and subverts it instead of supporting and nourishing it, that every day of the week shrinks our sense of what this phenomenal country can still do in the world, for the world. Lots of movies, even great ones, come and go, and they're forgotten in a few years, but not this one. Apollo 11 will always be there when we need an IMAX-sized refresher course on human audacity, on national purpose, and the beauty of nature and the grandeur of space. And also as a reminder of how brilliant editing and peerless material can make a great documentary. Todd Douglas Miller, please.
Thanks, Joe. Wow, gotta follow Jennifer Lopez and A-Rod's in the room. Oh, God. From New York and, big Yankee fan, so I don't know what to say now. By way from Ohio, as Julia and Steve said, so I go Buckeyes too, that's right. Hasn't been a good basketball year. We're like 0-4 in the 2020. Anyways, it's an editing award, so I'll try to be brief. But you can't make a film like Apollo 11 without a great team. For all the editors in the room, we get to work in dark rooms with a bunch of really great ingredients. And my producing partners here, Tom Peterson, we had over 500 reels that had never seen the light of day, and we invented a film scanner, large format film scanner, to be able to rifle through all of that. And Tom, along with a couple archive producers and 18,000 hours of audio, we were able to make a 90-minute film out of it. But our work continues, and it speaks to archival preservation, which is hugely important for this industry. And no one's got the best, we have the best scanner on the planet. There was only one invented. It's a prototype. It's out in London right now, filming a bunch of IMAX films, all the latest stuff. We're getting it back to continue our work, and it'll take years. And working with NASA on this project and the wonderful people at National Archives to update the historical record on just such a tremendous event. Also want to thank my music composer, Matt Morton. If anybody's seen the film, Matt did what we did with the visuals and the audio. He went out and he only used period instruments pre-1969, and the backbone for that was a 68 Moog synthesizer. Anybody that's seen that, it's like this giant wall with patch cables, and it's incredibly complex to learn, particularly for someone that wasn't around in 1968. But he did a phenomenal job, and him with our sound designer, Eric Milano, and Brian Eimer, our IMAX mixer, they just did a phenomenal job. So, Will Cox and Final Frame, who invented this prototype scanner and did all the restoration work, we owe a debt of gratitude to them as well. And the companies involved, C&M Films, IMAX, and in particular, Neon, Tom Quinn. You're just having an awesome year this year, man. And it's really nice to see a company support the theatrical experience. And you believed from the beginning that we had to get it on a big screen and on IMAX screens, and I'll forever be indebted to you for that as someone that only wants to make large format films from here on out. So thank you. Yes. Last, I just want to say one story. It's been a great year for nonfiction films. Julia and Steve with American Factory and others. For those of you in the audience that haven't gone out and seen documentaries, watch them all. Everything that's on the short list, hopefully you watch them, because it's really great. And it's an insular community. We're a small family, but we all support each other, and it's just been a wonderful year for docs in the last few years, really, and future's bright. I just want to leave you with a quick story. 1968 was an incredibly complex year. Of course, Robert Kennedy was assassinated, so was Dr. Martin Luther King. Reverend Al Abernathy took over the Poor People's Campaign for Dr. King, and after protesting on the White House lawn and erecting a tent city, they went down and they protested the launch of Apollo 11. Why are we spending so much money on spacecraft and going to space when we can we have poor people dying in the streets in this country in the late 60s? And there was a scene that developed down there the day of the launch. Thomas Paine, who was the NASA administrator at the time, came out to the wall that was separating them, and he opened that wall and he invited them in, and he gave them a VIP tour, and he said, "I want to be part of the solution, not the problem." And the launch happened. They were allowed the protesters, along with Abernathy, were there to witness the launch next with everybody else, Johnny Carson and celebrities and everyone else alike. And there was a CBS News cameraman there, and he asked him what he thought. And Abernathy said, "You know what, our protest can wait today. Today this is about humanity, and it's about all of us are one on this planet. And tomorrow we'll protest, but for right now, we're all together." And that's the spirit of what something as incredibly complex and motivating can do. It can bring all of us together. Over 500,000 people worked on the Project Apollo spread across 20,000 companies. 20,000 companies. We can't get 2 companies to talk anymore, or let alone 2 countries. And they did that 50 years ago, and there hasn't been anything since. And while we have the world on fire, we have people on the front lines like NASA, and the National Archives, but particularly climate scientists like NASA doing amazing work. So I want to dedicate this award to them and also to the critics. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Hi again. Antonio Banderas got his start in the theater and has returned to it of late. In fact, tonight he's doing a chorus line in Malaga at the theater he owns. In Pain and Glory, he blends the best of theater and film in his magnificently nuanced performance, and we're utterly transfixed. Banderas renders the character of 50-something filmmaker Salvador Mayo so empathetically we can't help but root for him. He's someone we respect and understand in some moments, and others are mystified by. We feel his pain, both psychic and physical, and we yearn to know more about him. It almost feels like we've been put under a spell. He makes us feel so strongly what he conveys through such subtle gestures and almost imperceptible movements. His performance is understated, yet deeply emotional. Through it all, we're mesmerized. Pedro Almodóvar gave Banderas his breakthrough role in Labyrinth of Passion in 1982. That early collaboration gave us a taste of what it would be like to have these 2 masters of their craft working together. Banderas broke into American movies with the Mambo Kings, and from there played a succession of dashing adventurers, renegades, and leading men. But he has never before played a character as complex, multifaceted, or melancholy as Pain and Glory's Salvador Mayo. As we watch memories wash over him and feel the tidal wave of the past overtaking him, we find ourselves asking, is the past ever truly behind us? Almodóvar and Banderas have described the process of making Pain and Glory as a kind of miracle. After watching Banderas' tour de force performance, we heartily agree. The LA Film Critics Association is delighted to present the Best Actor Award to Antonio Banderas. And we have a clip.
Yeah, when I received the news that I received this award, it made me really happy. I lived in this city for 25 years, you know. The concentration of the cinema universe is here in Los Angeles, one way or another. And so it makes me very proud, actually. Working with Almodóvar has been a pleasure, nothing but that. For the last 40 years, 8 movies that we have done together, and I hope that Pain and Glory is not the last one that we do. But he gave me the possibility to reinvent myself in many different ways during all these 4 decades that we have been working together. He's the real artist. I'm very happy that the movie actually received a recognition because Almodóvar is one of those people that never betrayed himself. He was very, very loyal to his personality, to the way that he makes movies and communicate with people all around the world. And that is very important in our days, you know. I also want to thank the people of Sony Classics, Michael Barker and Tom Bernard. They did a great job, you know, and they are people who love, really, really, really love movies deeply. They have been very connected with Almodóvar for many years now. And that's it. I'll see you in the movies. Bye.
Pedro? The man.
Obviously, I'm not Antonio, but I feel very proud to have in my hands this incredible award. And you know, I think I am really the one in this room to celebrate this incredible performance. When I finished to writing the script, I hesitate. Of course, I thought since the beginning in Antonio, but I hesitate because everything that we did in the past, during the 80s and also in the skin I live in, it was almost the opposite of the character that I was writing. And I didn't, then I decided to send him the script, and he really loved it. But I knew that I needed a conversation with him because I almost wanted to ask him to kill Antonio Banderas. I mean, I didn't say in that words, but since the beginning he realized that what the character demanded from him, it was exactly, something completely new that he never experimented as an actor, because he was specialized in something completely different. All the characters that I worked with him, it was someone crazy. Banderas has an incredible gaze, 2 eyes, with, I think for me, during the 80s, it was the best male actor to represent passion, just the way he looked at someone. You see something which is difficult and very strong, which is desire. So, in this movie, I didn't need that. I needed someone very melancholic and almost in the opposite register of that Antonio was famous. So he understood it since the beginning and very well. And really, I had to say that I thought that it should be a difficult movie for us to do it. But curiously, for me as a director, was the easier work with Antonio. So he did it. I don't know how he reinvented himself. And I was very curious because really the change was immediate since the very beginning. And perhaps if he was here, he will say this word. 2 years before making this movie, Antonio has a very serious heart condition and have a surgery 3 times. And he was really, really in danger. And I think that's why it was so easy to make this character. Because, he was touched in the factory of emotion. Because I never saw Antonio to be moved in the way he was in front of the camera in this movie. And I was very impressed because I knew him for a long time, and it was not the type of guy that react in this way. So, fortunately, he overcome this surgery, and perhaps is what's necessary to make this so wonderfully, the performance of Pain and Glory. I thank from him and from myself. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Todd McCarthy from The Hollywood Reporter, and I was going to talk about my 9 months working with Elaine May on Mikey and Nicky, but I realized I would just go on and on all night. There's just so many amazing things to talk about, so it would be way over the time limit. So in that case, I just want to say, Elaine, wherever you are, you were my first boss in Hollywood 45 years ago, and you've only made 1 film since. You're really overdue. You've got to come back. You've got to make another film. And it's high time that many people here many people here tonight, I think, would give anything to be at the premiere of her next film. And, I think she might do it. So this is her night for her career, and yet I don't think it's over. So I hope we all can join in insisting that she come back and make another film. Good. And for her Career Achievement Award, I think we have a video do we not? From Lucas Hedges. And here it is.
Elaine, every day I got to spend with you, I loved. Every day. I love you. I'm so happy that they're honoring you. Whoever it is, whoever made the decision, good for you. You made the right call. You chose to honor the right person. I loved working with you so much. I miss you. I want to hang out with you more. If you ever want a friend, if you ever want to go to the movies or anything, just let me know. I'll be here. I'm ready. I'm ready to hang out with you. Really. Yeah, Elaine, I love you. I don't really have anything specific to say. There's nothing I can say. You gotta watch what Elaine does. Just that's the one thing I'd say, like, because I left the experience of working with you just as clueless as to how to describe what you do that I did coming in, you know? Like, I don't know what to say, just, nor do I know how. Just like was watching something inevitable, you know, like watching a waterfall or just something that occurs naturally in nature, but whose existence is like indescribable, you know. So I threw in a little poetry there just to, you know, just get everyone excited. But oh, I love you so much, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks for being my friend. Bye-bye.
Now, in Elaine's absence, we have a nice plaque for her here, and it will be accepted by Greta Gerwig.
I've written so many things to say about Elaine, but as I'm standing here, I'm sweaty and I'm nervous because she's so much more excellent than I could truly ever hope. She gave me in so many ways permission to be monomaniacal and relentless and committed to my vision. In short, she allowed me to be a director. And all of the stories that I heard about her and all of her records and her Nichols and May acts and everything that she did allowed me to find what I wanted to do. And I'm in awe of her, and I'm really nervous. I don't know why I think she can see this. I don't think she can. But she passed along a message she wanted me to say, and I'm going to skip most of my speech, and I'm just going to say what she said because she's smarter and better than everyone. And she said, "Thank you for my Lifetime Achievement Award. I look forward to many more."
I almost ended up with the Elaine Mays Award. That was very exciting there for a second. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Grierson. Thank you very much. It gives me great pleasure tonight to present our award for Best Screenplay to Noah Baumbach. What happens to love when a relationship ends? Does it wither away and die, or can it evolve into something else? Well, those questions are at the heart of Noah Baumbach's wonderful Rise screenplay about the complexity and anguish of divorce. Yet his movie is called Marriage Story, because even though the main characters Charlie and Nicole are splitting up, they aren't entirely going their separate ways. Because they have a child, their relationship is simply changing. They're no longer man and wife, but they have to figure out how to still be a family. Bombeck has always been a sharp, sometimes caustic writer, but in Marriage Story, there's also an incredible amount of compassion and tenderness, alongside some really terrific jokes about Los Angeles. This film does not take sides in its depiction of Charlie and Nicole. We care about both of them, but understand why they don't fit together anymore. If the story does have a villain, it's the divorce industrial complex itself. The lawyers and legal mechanisms that can tear up lives and turn former soulmates against one another, convincing them that they're better off alone. It's a miracle anyone gets through that process in one piece. And so we worry about Charlie and Nicole. Amidst the custody battles and screaming matches, can they somehow hold on to what first bonded them so long ago? An epic of intimacy, Marriage Story pinpoints the small acts of kindness, the nagging insecurities and failures, the flashes of joy and sorrow that make up a relationship, the things we share with another person even after that person has moved on. It's a film about the end of love and the echoes of love that still linger. It's very, very funny, but it's also very, very bittersweet. It is a movie about marriage, but it's also a movie about being alive. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating our Best Screenplay winner, Mr. Noah Baumbach.
Thank you, Tim, for that really wonderful introduction. Because LA and New York play significant roles in Marriage Story, I've been asked many times about which city I prefer. I grew up in Brooklyn and live primarily in New York City, and I've made no secret of where my heart lies. But after the New York Film Critics Circle gave Tarantino this award, I've had to do some soul searching. So I want to thank the LA film critics for this great honor, and also apologize to the city of Los Angeles. At least for tonight, I got it wrong. Both of my parents were film critics. My dad for the Partisan Review, my mom for the Village Voice. They were also fiction writers and teachers and intellectuals, and all of those different mediums were part of a continuous conversation in our home. There was seeing movies, and then there was coming home and talking about them. And then we'd read what other critics wrote about the movies, and we'd assess them all over again. We checked to see what David Thompson said about an actor or a filmmaker in his biographical dictionary of film, or what label Andrew Sarris gave a director in his America Cinema book. How many stars had Leonard Maltin given the movie? Why was this one a bomb? We'd read Pauline Kael every other week in The New Yorker. We'd watch Siskel and Ebert. As a child, I was as aware of the Sarris-Kael rivalries as I was of the movies they were fighting about. But it was this conversation between movies and the people who wrote about them that made me want to make movies myself. And it makes an award like this one very special to me, so thank you. And also, whenever I get a bad review, it feels like my parents criticizing me. Thank you so much for this honor.
Pain and Glory, Apollo 11, Parasite, all these movies with plosives in their titles and this fucking microphone. And me, your next presenter, whose name starts with a P, Peter de Bruges. So what I've done is I've rewritten my speech to eliminate all the P's. It might not be as eloquent as I originally intended, but it'll be a little easier on your ears, I hope. These days you can do oops, that was the first draft. These days you can do just about anything with CG technology. You can make a disembodied hand scurry about like it's got a mind of its own, the way Addams Family did about 20 years ago. Or you can glove a virtual villain's hand with a ginormous infinity gauntlet and away half the Marvel universe, the way Avengers Infinity War did 2 years ago. But I think it's significant that French director Jeremy, whose last name will go unmentioned, chose a hand-drawn sensibility for his debut animated feature, I Lost My Body. Yes, there's CG involved in the film, but the final look, the film audiences see there on the big screen or on the small screen, because Netflix acquired the film at Cannes, allowing millions to see this eccentric, existential, one-of-a-kind movie on their own home screens, suggests that the movie has been sketched for us by an artist whose imagination is at once romantic and more than just a little bit deranged. This is a story of a hand that is literally cut off from the rest of its body, and the Homeric quest that such an unlikely main character undertakes in order to find its owner. I was there in 2014 when Jeremy stood in front of a room full of investors and tried to sell this idea. And I thought to myself, this movie is never going to get made. It's that crazy. But it did, and it's marvelous. It's funny and scary and romantic, and it's always, always surprising. Sorry for that one. It's a film about a hand that's really all about heart, one that takes us on a wild journey and reminds us what it is to love, to take risks, and to believe in ourselves. Jeremy Clapin, producer Marc Dupontavis, I'm so glad you fought to bring this crazy, brilliant movie to life, and I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve next. Please come and accept the award.
Thank you, Peter. I apologize for being dressed up as a businessman. I never know how to dress up. Sometimes it's business, cocktail, or casual chic. I never know. I guess I'm not a businessman. If I was, I wasn't able to make a film about severed hand. I guess. Yes, it's such an honor to be here tonight alongside such an incredible lineup of talents. I've been inspired by many of you, all of you, maybe except one or two, but a lot. Yes, I want to thank the Los Angeles Film Critics Awards for supporting this kind of film. I mean, this kind of film is an animated movie for adults, a bit weird and macabre, with a pitch including the severed hand, and we really need your support, your open-minded and passion for cinema, so thank you very much. I just want to point maybe something about animation. I check on Wikipedia also. Animation is not a genre. Animation, a genre is like a horror movie, romance movie, or comedy, or pornography, can be genre. But animation is a technique as live action to make movie, before making movie, to tell story, to make movie, and to make cinema. And yes, I hope, I like cinema because of its diversity, and I hope animation can be more part of this diversity. And tonight it's really good to see some good signal about that, because it's not only about the animation film, it's also about the music of the film, and we are very grateful to the critics to point the score of Dan Levy. So it's not about technique, it's mostly about film. Also, I want to thank Marc Dupont-Avis, my producer, who was a great partner on the film, on this very, very long process, and also all the artists and people involved in the film. So thank you very much.
I want to thank very much for this award. Receiving this from the Los Angeles Film Critics says a lot. It says that even in animation, you don't need a huge budget to be artistically ambitious. It says that animation isn't just for kids and family, that it can speak for an adult audience. Moreover, it says that any story could be told in animation, even a contemporary drama about love and resilience, if that's the choice of a filmmaker. And finally, it says that an animated film can be brilliant and complex as much as any live-action film, as much as the human mind itself. Tonight, we're very happy because this is exactly what we fought for 7 long years. If we felt very lonely for a very long time now, thanks to Netflix, we're so excited to share our film with million people around the world. I would like to express my gratitude and admiration to the brilliant vision of film director Jérémy Clapin, but also to the devotion and talent of all the artists who contributed to the film at the Xilam Animation Studio. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Angie Han. Ella Taylor was supposed to present this award tonight, but she couldn't be with us, so I am reading her words. Director Bong Joon-ho is already well known in earlier movies, The Host and Mother and others, for leaping between genres with love and blithe disregard for their boundaries. Parasite begins as a comedy of very bad manners, progresses to a slasher revenge picture, and ends on an elegiac note as great tragedy. The film's physical setting is upstairs-downstairs in a rich family's habitat, but there the resemblance to Downton Abbey abruptly ends. Director Bong gives us a beautifully photographed and crisply written tale of class conflict in South Korea that's forcefully local in its sensibility, but easily generalized to any supposedly advanced nation where the gap between the rich and the desperately poor has become an abyss, threatening the collapse of civilization itself. Parasite is very far from a documentary, but its underlying truths serve as a perfect antidote for all those who believe that Downton Abbey is a documentary. We are delighted to present director Bong Joon-ho with the award for Best Director.
감사합니다. Thank you. It's such a great honor to be here, and yeah, thanks to LAFCA, LAFCA. It certainly reminds me of AFKN. So, have you ever heard of AFKN? 그 주한 미군 방송이라는 건데요. American Forces Korean Network라고.
It's a broadcast channel in Korea for the U.S. military station there.
네, 어렸을 때 그 채널을 많이 봤어요.
When I was young, I watched that channel a lot.
At that time in 1970s, South Korea was whole culture is very conservative, but only in AFKN we can see some 야한 거, 폭력적인 거 이런 것들을.
A lot of violence and a lot of provocative scenes.
한 9살 때쯤 이제 9살, 10살 어렸을 때 이렇게 부모님들이 주무실 때 금요일 밤에 저 혼자 몰래 거실에 나와서 그 금요일 미드나잇 영화를 봤었거든요. 예.
When I was around 9 or 10, on Friday nights when my parents are sleeping, I would secretly come out to the living room and watch that channel.
그 당시엔 뭐가 뭔지 전혀 모르고 봤는데 나중에 어른이 돼서 알고 보니까 그게 이런 감독들의
So when I was young and watching those films, I had no idea what they were. And later, when I became an adult, I realized that they were films by great filmmakers.
브라이언 드 팔머, 존 카펜터, and 샘 페킨파, 마틴 스콜세지, all kind of. 그걸 보면서 어떻게 뭐랄까 그 당시 또 영어를 몰랐기 때문에 영상들만 보면서 내 멋대로 막 내러티브를 구상하면서 몸속에 어떤 영화적인 세포들을 막 만든 것 같아요.
And at the time, because I couldn't speak English, I would look at the images and reconstruct the narrative on my own. And I think that's when I started cultivating the cinematic cells in my body.
근데 오늘 이 감독상 받으면서 이제 그 앞서서 여기 시상식에서 상 받으셨던 분들 보니까 뭐 스필버그나 스콜세지나 시드니 루메트나 이런 데이빗 린치 이런 분들이 받으셨던 상이라서 무척 영광스럽습니다.
And earlier, I looked at the list of filmmakers who had received this award before, and there was Spielberg, Scorsese, Sidney Lumet, and all these amazing directors.
그 송강호 여기 이정은 배우님도 계시지만 저의 모든 비전을 실현하게 해준 우리 멋진 배우들과 프로듀서 그다음에 모든 스태프분들께 감사드리고요.
I would like to thank the actors, producers, and crew members that allowed me to actualize my vision.
그리고 뭐 이 자리에 가족이 같이 있는데 대학교 때 이제 단편 영화를 만들 때부터 지금 이 순간까지 함께 해준 제 아내와 그리고 저와 같이 또 창작의 길을 걷고 있는 가시밭길인데 어쨌든 아들에게도 큰 감사를 드립니다.
And my family is here with me tonight. I would like to thank my wife who was with me since I created short films when I was in college, and also to my son who is also on the struggling path of being a creator artist.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Alonso Duralde from The Wrap. And I'm here to present Best Foreign Language Film. There is a cliche that gets trotted out most often when we're talking about movies with what Director Bong would call the 1-inch barrier of subtitles, telling us that the language of cinema is universal. And yes, but it's also super personal, like all other great art. Every audience member and every critic, for that matter, is going to come away from a movie with something different. And I can't help feeling a very personal attachment to the films of Pedro Almodovar. When I see the old widows in the village in Volver, I'm reminded of the tiny rural town where my mother and her family sat out the Spanish Civil War, far from the tumult of Madrid. When I see Rossi de Palma throwing exquisite shade in Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown or Volver, I got cousins who could give her a run for her money in that department. And now we get to The Extraordinary Pain and Glory, which is a movie about an aging gay Spanish man with a bad back and great hair. And I'm like, whoa. But it is a universal story. It's an amazing look at the artist's life and about getting older and figuring out where you might have taken a wrong turn and how to get back on that path. It's a movie that reminds us, mainly because of who made it and how it's made, that there's a difference between aging and getting old. And while we're all aging, we don't have to get old. We can continue to be excited about life, to ask the hard questions, and even more difficultly, look for the answers. And we can look back on our lives and figure out where it's all going, and maybe figure out what a new chapter is going to be. And certainly Pedro Almodovar has done that as a filmmaker and as a storyteller. He's made a movie that challenges us, that enchants us, and as hokey as it might sound, that heals us. Please welcome to receive the Best Foreign Language Film from the Los Angeles Film Critics Association, the director of Dolor y Gloria, Pedro Almodóvar.
Thank you. Well, yes, now it's me in front of you. I'm not going to talk about Pain and Glory. You are telling so many things. And also it's difficult for me to talk about this movie. So really, I would like tonight to thank the Los Angeles Film Critics Association for this honor. And I'd like to congratulate you, the critics of LA, for the display of diversity of these awards. You have shown a great sensitivity with foreign culture in contrast to your government, whose policies revolve around isolating and rejecting everything that comes from outside. So thank you. LAFCA is easier to say for me. LAFCA has shown great taste and real diversity, granting 7 awards to foreign artists. I'd like to share this award with Agustin, my brother and producer, with the cast of the film, of course, Antonio, Penelope, and the rest of the actors, whose performances are extraordinary. I want to thank Sony Pictures for having become the best bridge between my films and the American audience in the last 30 years. Thanks again for this award, perhaps because now I'm getting more aware of how important and difficult it is to get here. I'm enjoying much more than ever. And I would like to say something to Bong Joon-ho. I don't hate you. I love you. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you. I'm Justin Chang, and I have the great honor, ridiculous honor of following Pedro Almodóvar and of presenting our final award this evening. We've heard a lot about Parasite, not just tonight, but over the past several months. Less than a year after it became the first Korean movie ever to win the Palme d'Or at the Cannes Film Festival, Parasite already feels like something permanent. A movie that, true to its title, has taken deep root in our cultural landscape and keeps growing and growing in our memory. How many of us knew what we were in for when we first saw it? Could we have guessed that this modestly budgeted Korean production would become an international phenomenon, surpassing all commercial expectations and inspiring Twitter memes about doorbell jingles and instant noodle recipes? Did we know that a house built by the filmmakers from the ground up could be so stunningly beautiful, or that its walls could contain so many lethal secrets? Were we shocked that a thriller this deliriously entertaining could also express something so piercingly sad about our humanity and our inhumanity? Maybe we should have seen at least some of this coming, especially those of us who have long known that Bong Joon-ho is one of the most brilliantly imaginative and politically astute filmmakers of his generation. In Parasite, no less than in his science fiction thrillers like The Host and Snowpiercer and Okja, he creates an entire world in minutely imagined detail and then pulls back to reveal that that world is our own. He has assembled one of the year's most impressive ensembles of actors, including Choi Woo-shik, Park So-dam, Cho Yo-jung, Lee Jong-un, and our great supporting actor winner this evening, Song Kang-ho, all playing characters who can be shrewd and foolish, sympathetic and monstrous, but are always painfully, absurdly human. As Choi Woo-shik teasingly reminds us throughout, it's so metaphorical. And indeed, it is. What's amazing about Parasite is that a movie so concrete in its vision of contemporary Korean society could also be so elastic as an allegory about poverty and privilege, class and gender, family and work, love and desire. It's a metaphor, yes, and it's also a masterpiece. Please join me in congratulating the filmmaking team behind the best film of 2019, director Bong Joon-ho and producer Kwak Shin-hye.
네, 기생충을 제작한 곽신혜라고 합니다.
I'm Kwak Shin-hye, the producer of Parasite.
아까 감독상 때 감독님이 소감을 말씀하시는데 대부분의 내용이 제 마음하고 똑같아서 제가 반복되지 않는 부분만 말씀드리겠습니다.
Director Bong's speech that he gave when he won for Best Director is pretty similar to how I feel, so I would like to talk about some things that aren't a repetition.
네, 이 영화제에서 상을 받았던 그 과거의 작품들 리스트에서 제 눈에 되게 띄었던 게 제가 어릴 때, 그러니까 10살 때쯤에 엄마 손을 잡고 가서 극장에서 봤던 굉장히 가슴 깊이 남아있던 작품부터 제가 숏 바이 숏을 하면서 영화 공부를 할 때 교재로 삼았던 많은 작품들이 그 안에 있었습니다.
So I looked at the list of films that had won this award in the previous years, and I saw films that I had seen with my mother when I was 10 years old, holding her hand in the theater, and I also saw films that I studied shot by shot when I was studying cinema.
그 시절로부터 지금 제가 한국 영화계에서 영화를 만들면서 가장 존경하고 사랑하는, 저뿐만 아니라 한국 영화계에서 가장 존경하고 사랑하는 감독님과 배우분과 같이 함께 만든 영화로 2020년에 이 리스트에 이름을 올릴 수 있게 되어서 너무 영광이고 너무 기쁘게 생각합니다.
I consider it such a great honor and joy to be here in this award ceremony, selected as Best Picture of 2020 with actors and a director that is so respected and loved by everyone in the Korean film industry.
그리고 심지어 저희가 계속 외국어 영화상 부분에서 이렇게 그 틀에 있었는데 오늘은 이렇게 시원하게 감독상과 또 우리 송강호 배우님의 연기상과 작품상까지 시원하게 모아주셔서 그 부분에 대해서도 굉장히 이 시상식에 대해서 너무 멋지다고 생각합니다. 감사합니다.
And until now, we've mostly been included in the foreign language film category, and to be here and win Best Director, Best Picture, and Best Supporting Actor has been such a great joy and honor, and it's so very bold, and I think this award is very cool.
LA를 사랑해야 되겠다고 오늘부터 사랑에 빠진 1일이 되었고요. 예, 이 추억 영원히 잊지 않겠습니다. 감사합니다.
Today is the first day I've started falling in love with LA, and I will never forget this night. Thank you.
Thanks to the great taste of the movie programmer of American Forces Korea Network. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you all for coming. We're so happy. Thank you to all of our winners who attended. And Tim, speak.
Well, I was going to say, Claudia, because she's our president, gets to thank everybody who helps her at the beginning of the evening, but nobody actually thanks Claudia. You've been a fabulous president these last several years. This group loves you.
Thank you.
You're wonderful. Have a good evening.
You're wonderful.
Thank you very much.